Welcome to episode 3. My name's Hannah and I'm known as a female mechanic, and the Porsche 996 is back. The bargain basement 911 has finally returned from its gearbox work, and it's great to see it A, on the floor and not on a ramp, which means it's all good news, and B, that it's working properly. Now, it didn't come cheap, so I've got the report here and I'm going to go through everything that it has had to get it basically so I can drive it, which is great news. You know, I've spent plenty of time and a little bit of money on this. It's now great that I can get out and use it, but it also needs an MOT. So at the moment, well, that's the second part of this episode where it will be going off for its MOT, so fingers crossed that it's a clean bill of health for this car, but at least now we have got it running and it will be going up the gears. So just a bit of background story on the gearbox. When I bought this vehicle, it actually came into the workshop by the previous owner. They had broken down in it and it wasn't changing up the gears. So we had a look into it. It looked like it had a new sump pan. The filter looked fairly new, and so did the oil. So we ruled out the fact that it wasn't an old type oil, that had been changed, the filter was all okay. So it did point to something a bit more terminal, which was a shame. Thought maybe we could get away with just a simple oil and filter change, but no such luck. They also suffer a little bit with the multi-plugs on the side of the gearboxes, so that can sometimes mess up. So as you look, it's on the driver's side of the gearbox, there's like a multi-plug that sits on there. That all looked to be all right. That wasn't bringing up any fault codes when we plugged it in. So it then went to a specialist, and yeah, they found a little bit of damage inside, to say the least. So yeah, I'm £2,500 lighter, but when you consider how much car I've now got, it's still a bargain. So if I go through everything that has been changed, so obviously transmission was removed and stripped, the pump was replaced and a new pump and bush put in. The A clutch drum was replaced with a modified new ZF drum. All clutch frictions and clutch steel plates were replaced. So it's had a complete overhaul, which is brilliant, because then we know that this should now last for many more miles. All gaskets, seals and O-rings were replaced, all bushes replaced. The valve body was stripped and recalibrated, which sits inside the gearbox. A new filter was also fitted, and obviously all the new oil. New torque converter, which converts the drive from the engine into the gearbox. That was also a new one of those was put on. So it's had pretty much a lot, well, it has had a recon basically. So everything has been replaced. There was on the clutch drum, there was a broken part on that, so near the shaft, so that was the initial problem, which is why I wasn't changing up. It has been expensive, but with automatic gearboxes, they are an absolute, I don't touch them. They're not something that I get my hands kind of dirty on. It's best that they go to specialists. They come across similar problems all the time, and whenever we get an automatic gearbox problem in the workshop, we do send them out to another, like a third party. We do deal with the manual side of things, but definitely not the automatics. So there is a lot in there, there's a lot of wiring, there's a lot of controls, and yeah, I leave it to the experts. So now we have a working car. All we've got to do now is get an MOT on it. So what I've done is I've checked, so going back, some of the simplest things that cars fail on with MOTs that we find in the workshop are lights, tyres, wipers, the washer jets, things like that. They're the main ones. So it's ideal. We can do all these at home as well. So I've checked the lights, gone all around the car, all the lights are working, apart from there's a fog light at the back that is showing fairly white, so that is going to be replaced. I've replaced both front wiper blades because they were a bit old, so put new ones of those on. All washer jets are working alright, all the tyres are in brilliant condition, so we haven't got to worry about those. I replaced the CV boots in the last episode, so that's all okay. So I can't see there being a problem, but you just never know. So I'm going to replace that fog light bulb, and then I'm going to take it for its MOT. So everything is crossed, because I want to get out and actually enjoy this car. And episode 4 will actually be where I take it for a road test and we really kind of see what this 996 is capable of. So fingers crossed that we can get the MOT, the gearbox is still okay, and that we can get and have some fun. So yep, let's change this fog light bulb and let's head for the MOT. Right, okay, so to change the rear fog light, what we've got to do is lift the engine cover. Come to the back here, lift this up. Now I have actually, oh, it's actually staying up. So the strut in this, as you can see, this here has a bit of a mind of its own. So I will just wedge that up there just so it doesn't fall on my head. But to replace, let me go and get a light. Right, so now I've got a light. So right, to get the rear tailgates lights out, you've got a 10mm that's just there, so that's just got to come out really, and then the whole light should pop out. So yeah, 10mm. Let's take that out. But there you go, see, tail light comes out and then it will just pull out like that. So it's really easy, and then you've just got the connections there. So this is the back of the light. So these, they've got like drain, get out the light, got these drain rubbers. So I've actually turned these ones round because, as you can see, look, they're cracked and they weren't hanging on very well, so I've actually turned them round so they're cracked a bit. So as you can see, this one, look how loose that is. So if you turn it round, it's a bit hard to film and do this at the same time because it doesn't want to go on that easy. But yeah, push that on. Now that's solid on there. So this one's come off too. It's all cracked. Where did that one come off of? Probably there. So I just turned it round and pushed that one back on there like that. Right, so this is the, so yeah, it's just a white bulb, but it is showing a bit, it's not ideal. So I think what's happened is the lens has got a bit white. It actually sits above what looks like the, yeah, it has gone, it's lost its redness. So that's why it's showing whiter. I'm going to try and put a red bulb in there instead to make sure it is a proper red showing fog light. So yeah, we have a pass. Woo! Never doubted it for 1 second we'd get a pass on this car. So basically, yeah, it's done 2,000 miles since last MOT, so it's lived a bit of a charmed life, this car. It's going to be in for a massive rude awakening when I start using it more and taking it on the rolling road and bits like that. So but yeah, no advisories, to be honest, I did have a good check around this car. It was only the CV boots and the fog light bulb which I changed. Everything else seemed to be fine on it. Checked all obviously the lights, all the basic things before it went away. But yeah, it's really good to get, you know, this car. So mileage here 154,520, and it's absolutely sailed through its MOT. So what can you get for under £5,000 in the Porsche world? Okay, the gearbox was gone, but a pretty decent car. Long may it continue as well. So I've got the pass, the gearbox is working perfectly. So I think the next video is going to be, we do a road test on it. We see exactly what this car's capable of, what the extras it's got on it, being the Carrera 4, take it around some country roads, we'll have a bit of fun with it, see if there's any kind of issues when actually driving it a bit more with the power on, and really kind of get beneath this car's skin a little bit. So that'll be episode 4, which is next. But yeah, absolutely chuffed we've got a pass on it. Thanks again to Rich at C&W for just fitting this car in, because I'd forgotten that, well, I hadn't forgotten, but I knew it was coming up, the MOT, and yeah, he was like, yeah, bring it down and we'll get it MOT'd. So great stuff there. But yeah, let's get on to episode 4, road test. I'll also talk about in episode 4 as well the common issues with the Porsche 996. I know a lot of people have been asking about the IMS bearing, which is something that as soon as you Google Porsche 996, IMS bearing comes straight up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that while we're taking the car out and about. And but yeah, so all good, and join me for episode 4. Thanks for watching.